Know anything. He's a know-it-all. He knows some engineering. Don't get me wrong. I give a hat tip for that, but he doesn't know anything about the real world. Doge was, and for any fanboys that still exist, while you're wrapping up in your cape tonight, understand on Doge, he didn't find any fraud. There's plenty of fraud out there. He didn't find, this is President Trump's first complaint. Was this all BS? Right with the with the Doge. The act that President Trump should be taking immediately, I think, when he threatens to take one of the big programs out of SpaceX, President Trump tonight should sign an executive order calling for the Defense Production Act to be called in SpaceX and seize SpaceX tonight before midnight. Know anything?
I'm actually curious, okay? Like, let's assume Trump does that. What would be the difference between United States and China at that point? From an ideological point of view, right? Because, like, I understand America is awesome and everyone has to support it because it's freedom, liberty, justice, the American way, which are values that I agree with, you know? Like, and the reason I agree with is because I want my country to have those values. So it's like a gold standard for human civilization. Those values, I mean, not this shit that I'm seeing here, which is pretty much like China. It's like, okay, you have a business that's good, and you have a business that's functional. Well, the government can now take it over. Why? Because we feel so. Now, here's the interesting part. Apparently, there actually is a law where the U.S. government could theoretically seize private property, but it's usually not enacted because you're crossing a Rubicon. Right? And you would have to justify that the U.S. government literally needs that resource. Now, in this case, apparently, they're talking about the Dragon rocket, right? So, like, the Dragon rocket is now vital for the International Space Station operations. And the reason for it is because NASA fucked up. And the question is, like, who owns NASA? Like, who's in charge of NASA, right? Oh, the government. Okay, so you want a private company that's working better than what the government does, not through magical pixies, not through anything else besides the fact that it's run privately. Like, there's different interests, there's a different vision, right? When you run something privately. And when you prove that, okay, the private sector can do the same job much better than the government can, your solution is like, well, the government needs to take it. Why? So it can ruin it like it fucking ruined NASA? Like, there's no logical explanation why NASA isn't doing better than SpaceX. The only reason that it's not is because of corruption. That's it, right? Like, because when it's your business, when it's your company, you're actually interested in making sure that it's working for profit, that it's working as intended. When it's the government's business, well, then it's everyone's business. And so your interest is to make sure that you put your friends there, you know, you reward your bodies with leadership positions, and then they, you know, maybe they have some family members that they need jobs and stuff. That's how the government works. That's why it's inefficient. But still, you know, like seeing this from Bannon, which is a right-winger who notices a public spat between two people and doesn't even wait a day, doesn't even wait to see how this turns out, you know, that doesn't wait for the dust to settle. And immediately sparks out and is like, oh yeah, seize the assets, take everything, take. What message would this send to other business owners? Like why would anyone even want to remain in the United States if the lesson is clear? The moment you disagree with the establishment can take your shit. Now, even if I was a strong Trump supporter, even if I was like 100% on Trump's side, what happens when there's a Democrat into office? Because now this is the logic that you created, right? The moment that the person doesn't play ball, take his shit away. And so if you're a social media company, if you're an AI company, if you're anything that the government may like, you know, you're doing pioneering work, you're doing groundbreaking work into something that the government may like, well, now it's like China, isn't it, right? You have the exact same system. Government needs it, government takes. What a horrible way to think. Now the thing that shocked me is that there were a lot of subscribers of Bannon that stopped coming me with this, like, this batshit insane internet mentality. You know, like these walking mental asylums saying, well, what good is power if you don't use it? Well, hold on a little bit. Like, are you talking about running a just society, or are you talking about running a tyranny? Like the only reason that I thought people like right-wingers is because they don't do leftist shit. Right? Because otherwise you vote for the left. Because if I vote for power, the left right now holds a lot more power in the world than the right-wingers do, right? So, like, if I'm addicted to power and I have a fetish for seeing, like, people do tyrannical shit, and then I can't think of something more tyrannical than taking someone's property away, then I may as well just vote for the left, right? Because they're the ones with the big dicks. I thought that right-wingers, like, their whole purpose is to protect us from the leftists. Like, the people that want to keep their shit, you know, the people that don't want to be taxed to death, the people that don't want their properties to be seized, well, they vote for right-wingers. So, like, if right-wingers would behave like leftists, then I might as well just vote for the left, because they're leftying properly, you know? They're not a simulacrum of the left. They're not fucking pretending. They're honest. They're leftists, right? So, like, I would rather vote to support them if the right is just behaving like this. Well, luckily it's not. It's just Steve Bannon. But I do see people that share his vision. And it's like, yo, I mean, well, the government should behave like it. No, I think there are certain things that they shouldn't do. I think there are just a couple of, like, not a lot. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every time, you know, the right-winger should be obsessed with, like, we shouldn't act like the left. No. But on core principle issues, like on fundamental basic issues, which should be private property, yes, I do think that right-wingers should never take private property away, unless, like, there's no other options. Like, you explored everything. And in this situation, there is another option. You have NASA. Fucking fund NASA if you really want space rockets that much. Right? Like, if you decided that this is the future, pump money into NASA properly. Honestly, I do view space exploration as being extremely important for mankind because it's not about colonizing other planets, but it's also about harvesting minerals. Like the moment we manage to decide that we're going to mine outer space, and you can just pull asteroids on Earth, or you can just mine them there for rare earth minerals, that's going to be an insanely lucrative business. And it's going to push humanity forward much more than we ever had up until now. Because now you have access to infinite resources. Now you have nations that, you know, maybe would have gone to war. Or they would have bullied other nations in order to get rare earth minerals. Now they can get them from outer space, right? So, like, all of this would be a huge leap forward for mankind. And the only way it can happen is through the private sector, it seems. Right? Like, the governments aren't interested. The governments are now interested in surveillance, control. That's where the money goes. And so for the actual human achievement, for the actual shit that would also provide more liberty, is to allow the private sector to behave in a way that pushes forward innovation. And so if you're going to crack down on the private sector because you don't like the takes that Elon Musk had, and you're going to spook them, well, it's going to make the private sector go like, hold on a little bit, like, this is an extremely expensive and crippling endeavor. And so, why risk it? Because, like, if we get remotely successful and we outcompete the government, we outcompete NASA, they're going to take away our shit. Yeah, I by the way, just so you know, it doesn't mean that I don't like anything that Steve Bannon says. Like, a lot of his populist takes make sense. A lot of the stuff that he says, I agree with. But on this particular issue, on we need to take away the shit of private people, like, I'm sorry, that sounds too communist for me to get behind. It is what it is, you know? Like, change your talking point. Reconsider. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.